United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The town clerk will read the public hearing notice.
Please take notice that the Town of Clinton will hold a public hearing on October 11th, 2022 at the Town of Clinton Town Hall, 1215 Center Road, Rhinebeck, Town of Clinton, New York, at 6:25 p.m. prevailing time or as soon thereafter as the matter has been reached on the agenda concerning proposed local law number 4 of 2022 entitled, "A Local Law to Override the Tax Levy Limit for Fiscal Year 2023 pursuant to New York General Municipal Law, Section 3C." The local law will take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. Complete copies of the proposed local law are available at the Town of Clinton Town Clerk's office for inspection during regular business hours. All interested persons and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard on said proposal at the date, time, and place aforesaid.
Thank you, Carol. We can open the floor to anybody who wants to comment on the local law to override the tax cap. This is a law we pass every year in the event that we need to exceed the tax cap in our budget preparations. Due to increased inflation over the past year and skyrocketing fuel costs, we do anticipate needing to exceed it this year, but we are working diligently to create a responsible budget that limits the impact of the override. So if anybody has any comments, if not, we'll wait a few minutes and then move into the regular meeting.
Oh, really?
In Kingston.
Oh. They were the lions.
Yeah.
How you doing?
May I?
Yeah.
Seeing no comments about this about this local law, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And in 20 more seconds or so, we'll start the regular meeting. After Sean does his presentation, then we will. We're all going to come out there with you guys in a little bit. All right, 6:30. I'd like to call the regular town board meeting to order. Can we please stand and pledge to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight we have two special guests. In November of last year, Sean Carroll of Cornell Cooperative Extension approached the town regarding a road stream crossing inventory and management plan. They've been creating these plans for Dutchess County communities for about 6 years now at no cost to the towns. We jumped on the opportunity and have been working on the project since late January. We've invited Sean here tonight to explain the project to the community and maybe ask for a little help. So the town board will come down there to see his presentation.
You should use it, yes. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Tom. Great. Okay. Great. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me tonight. As Supervisor Witten introduced me, my name is Sean Carroll. I am a senior GIS and environmental resource educator at Cornell Cooperative Extension of Dutchess County in Millbrook. And actually, I'm a recent Clinton Corners resident as well. I'm technically in the town of Washington, but I'm right up the road on Jameson Hill, so I like to pretend that I'm a Clinton resident. So I'm here tonight to discuss a project that Supervisor Witten introduced. It's the development of a road stream crossing inventory and management plan. Fancy way of saying a list of culverts and bridges within the town of Clinton that were assessed, measured, and their quality kind of monitored and assessed for passability of aquatic organisms and as well as flood risk. So making sure that the town has, a comprehensive list of these, working closely with the highway department. Todd and his staff are fantastic to work with, and we know they have all the boots on the ground knowledge, but it's nice, hopefully this will act as a great resource going forward for the town. So real quick, I just want to give just 2 slides, introduction to Cornell Cooperative Extension for anyone who doesn't know about us and what we do. Our mission is to build strong and healthy youth, adults, families, and communities while enhancing the economic, social, agricultural, and natural resources of Dutchess County. You all are probably aware of our 4-H program and youth development, but we also work in the areas of agriculture and horticulture, family and consumer education, and my program, which is the environment and energy program. So this project that I'm working on with the town is part of a larger partnership, the Hudson Valley Climate Resilience Partnership. It's a project that is funded through the Hudson River Estuary Program, a sub-department of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. There's also funding that comes from Cornell University and the New York State Water Resources Institute. So this partnership has been over a decade in the making. We worked with now we're currently working with 6 counties within the Hudson Valley, but we've worked with almost all of them, from Albany all the way down to Westchester County, working with numerous municipalities within that area as well to provide free technical assistance and support on climate smart communities projects and lots of other things pertaining to flooding, drought, whether it be coastal, inland, all these types of climate resilience aspects. So for anyone who's not familiar with the Climate Smart Communities Program, it's a New York State program that helps local governments take action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to adapt to a changing climate. The program helps to offer free technical assistance, grants, and as well as rebates for electrical vehicles for communities that are pursuing that route. So Supervisor Witten and the town came to us earlier this year looking to get more involved in this program. The town is registered or a pledged Climate Smart community. So that's the first step in this program, is taking that pledge. Again, this comes at no cost to the town. It's just kind of getting you enrolled in the program and saying, hey, we're interested in taking next steps to working towards making our community more climate resilient and climate smart. So as I mentioned, there's numerous actions pertaining to energy efficiency and clean renewable energy retrofits, climate smart land use policies, and resilience to climate change, which is where this program that I'm working on comes into. And I just encourage you, if you're not familiar with the program, to check out the Climate Smart website. This is a map showing all the communities in New York State that have pledged. So as you can see, the Hudson Valley especially has really been proactive in this program, and just really goes to show that our region is in the forefront of work on climate resilience. So it's great to see Clinton being involved in that as well. So the project that I'm working on specifically pertains to Pledge Element 7 of the Climate Smart Communities, which is enhancing community resilience to climate change. And the particular action that we're assisting with, one of the actions, we're actually doing a couple projects with the town this year, but one of them is this Culverts and Dams Inventory and Management Plan. So the purpose and goal of this is to assemble an inventory of culverts, bridges, and dams within the town of Clinton, including information on structural dimensions, materials, condition, as well as photos. With that, we'll develop a priority list and a management plan for which culverts, bridges, and or dams need attention, resizing, repair, or potential replacement. And then lastly, and most importantly, we'll assist the community in looking for grant opportunities and help them apply to those for right sizing and repairing culverts. And again, I just want to reiterate, this is all free to the community. We receive funding from the state to assist. We know that you all have your hands tied and busy with all the day-to-day work you do, so we're hoping to try to make some of these actions a little bit more attainable. So the kind of final product that we'll put together, actually let me go back one slide real quick. So on the right here you can see this is just a screenshot of the cover of one of these documents that I put together for the town of Rhinebeck, right next door. This was in 2018. So a lot of the examples that I'm going to have in these slides are coming from that guide, just because I have yet to finalize the town of Clinton's inventory yet. So just wanted to preface with that. So what the document will look like, it'll have an inventory of all of the stream crossings, so bridges and culverts as well as dams within the town that have been assessed. So the assessment was done via this NAC protocol, North Atlantic Aquatic Connectivity Collaborative. It's a mouthful. But what that organization looks to do is make assessments on whether streams are potential barriers for aquatic organism passability. So your brook trout, aquatic invertebrates, amphibians, as well as mammals. So that's definitely one of the priorities of this assessment, but we also realize that flood risk is another huge priority of communities, and we're tying both of those into this assessment. So as you'll see, there are, on the results here, I realize it's kind of tough to see on the screen, but each culvert will have results pertaining to whether it's, what level of a barrier it is. It's ranging from a severe all the way down to no barrier or insignificant barrier. And then they'll have a map on it, as well as a lot of location information to make it really easily found via maps or in the field. Let's see if I can focus this a little bit better. So again, going along with each culvert, you'll have information pertaining to what type of crossing it is, whether it's a bridge, culvert, or otherwise. You'll have information on the condition, its alignment, some of the stream information, what type of substrate there is, and you'll have upstream and downstream images. There will also be, this is the flood passability data that I was mentioning. So again, with each crossing, you'll have modeled data. This is modeled by Cornell University. For most crossings, we have this data. There are a few where that was unable to be modeled due to some lacking data. But what this information tells you is it tells you the peak, the culvert's capacity, and then it references back to the peak flow that is estimated at certain return intervals. So these are basically your 2 to 100-year storm events. These take into consideration current and future precipitation estimates. So basically what the chart is showing is that at a 2 to 100-year storm, what type of storms this culvert is modeled to pass. And again, it's an imperfect science, but it's kind of a good recommendation on realizing, this culvert might, if it needs to be replaced, it might make sense to enlarge it. And then the last bit of information is pertaining to the structure itself. The inlet, the outlet, we have photos of it, and then we have all the measurements as well. So again, this is, it's technical, but it's used by the highway department, and hopefully for maintenance, but also just kind of having a log. Again, I've been riding around with Todd. He knows these better than, it's impressive how well he knows them all. But again, it's just a great kind of resource for having all these measurements and this information and data. So the process that we've been gone through with the town of Clinton so far, again, as I mentioned, I've been working with Supervisor Witten, the highway staff, Todd and Melissa here with us tonight, as well as the Climate Smart Communities Task Force and the representative Joe Phelan, and the town of Clinton CAC, or Conservation Advisory Committee, which is led by Barbara Manson. So this year, in 2022, we've worked so far to map the assessed culverts, discussing priorities for repair replacement, doing some site visits, meeting as a committee, and we've done a small amount of public outreach so far, which I'll get into in just a slide here. Next year, we're looking to assemble the final inventory document, prioritize the prioritization, and the final management plan, which will be made publicly available. And then I say onward, we'll be looking to, after finalizing the plan, we'll be looking for opportunities for funding. Against when we had that priority list, we'll look at the top maybe 2 or 3, and then go from there on ones that are feasible for getting some funding to replace. So lastly, I mentioned we've done some public outreach. We developed a public survey looking to solicit the town of Clinton residents' feedback and local knowledge as it pertains to culverts, bridges, and dams within the town. We recently shared it at the Clinton Community Day and hope to share it at a few other town events. We've passed out a couple copies for the town board tonight, and there are as well some more at the table behind us for to pass out at any other events or for people to pick up as they will. So if you're a resident and you have knowledge of local roads and culverts that may, affect you or your neighborhood, please feel free to take the survey. It's just a simple scan with your mobile device. It takes 5 minutes. It's really helpful information. And then lastly, again, we're just looking to do some presentations at public meetings. So we're presenting here tonight, and then we'll also be planning to present next year once the document is finalized. So with that, I just open up the floor for any questions. Yeah.
I see you have culverts and dams as one of your things you take care of.
Yeah.
I think Todd and his guys do a pretty good job in taking care of all the culverts in the town.
Yes.
So I got a question about a dam.
Okay.
There's I don't know what you do in terms of dams, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
Down the road from where I live, there's a dam that collapsed probably about 20 years ago.
Okay.
It's still holding back a fairly large pond.
Sure.
Behind it.
Yeah.
That dam is privately owned.
Yeah.
What can you do about that?
Yeah, so the question was about, how we handle privately owned dams. And in that case, the first thing we would do would be to approach the landowner and start the conversation. A lot of landowners realize that, these are historic structures that are now their property and they're a potential risk that is levied on them now. So a lot of landowners are willing to work with us to kind of start the conversation. We would obviously need to involve DEC and some of the other state agencies. There was actually a dam removal project in the town of Pleasant Valley, I think 2 years ago now, which was shared by two landowners that, on either side, they owned half of the dam. So we worked with both sides, both landowners to come to an agreement and worked on, on doing that removal with equal agreement in that. So, the first thing would be to come to the landowner if they're willing to discuss that with us and start that conversation. The state has some money. It's one of, the estuary programs. Again, it kind of ties into this. They're looking to build aquatic connectivity in these systems, dam removal being a perfect opportunity for that. So it's a priority of theirs.
So your general thrust of what you do is revolves around removing the dam. You're not going to attempt to try to rebuild it.
In most cases, rebuilding it or repairing it is exponentially more expensive than removing it, and removing it is very
I
expensive.
think the DEC required some of these dams to get knocked down.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If it's extremely faulty to the point where it's a hazard, FEMA might even get involved in that. But it depends on. We'd have to come take a look at it and assess it and see, what the landowner. I mean, if the landowner was really tied to having it there, there could be some conversation involved with that. But in most cases.
Add water to the streams?
Well, let me just finish this gentleman's question, then I'll get to that. So yeah, I mean, that would be the first conversation, just figuring out what the landowner's priority would be. Yeah. So this question was on culverts and adding more capacity to the stream. So yeah, in some cases, culverts act as dams, right? So we think about them as, you need to think about culverts as a system. If you have one culvert upstream and you make it bigger, that potentially allows a lot more water to flow downstream and can cause further damage down there.
What effect does that have if the stream is a protected waterway and you're not supposed to alter the stream?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to alter itself. I mean, if in most cases, we're looking at them as a system. So we would never, you know, make a culvert so much larger upstream that it's going to completely wash out downstream. It's all engineered as a system. DEC is involved in the whole process, so they would sign off on it. There would be studies involved in it that are ensuring that downstream effects would be mitigated or, you know, prevented.
Yeah, I mean, I live right on the stream.
Okay.
And I know they've added culverts all
Yep.
the way up through that road.
Right.
And it has increased the width of the street.
Mm-hmm.
So in the spring, it's like a river. I've had foundation problems, that's why I'm asking.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're having issues with it, it's something we should discuss and talk about. But
Could potentially widen that street.
yeah, I mean, potentially. Again, the goal of here is to be ensuring that, you know, the culverts are large enough that they're not getting washed out and causing, you know, road closures. That's the main priority here. But of course, if there are downstream effects that are affecting residents, that's something we want to be aware of and address as well.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And I'm happy to talk with you more afterwards if that's the case. Yep.
What if, I don't know, what you're using for mapping, problems with elevation.
Yeah.
Are you guys involved in any of that, or you let DEC tell you what your relative elevations are between this culvert and one down the road somewhere?
Yeah. So the question's pertaining to the elevation model that we use in the mapping. So all the modeling for this is done by Cornell University. They're using DEMs, or digital elevation models, that are up to date using LiDAR. So they're I don't have the accuracy off the top of my head, but they're very accurate. And this elevation model is you know, as new collection systems and technology are coming on board, it's updated regularly. So yeah, Cornell is the one doing the actual modeling data. I mean, I have access to the GIS data, but they do the modeling.
I didn't know if you were relying on photogrammetry being done every once in a while.
No, in most cases it's LiDAR, so light detecting and radar, so it's a very accurate way of measuring elevation. Yep, sure.
Does the Environmental Protection Agency get involved with that in terms of, like, I know when I built something near the stream, I needed a seeker.
Mhm.
Is that also,
Yeah, so the question was, does DEC get involved in the permitting process for this? Again, DEC is involved from the get-go. They, you know, as we, you know, they're the ones who are actually funding this project, and they're, you know, if we get funding through the state, they're going to be involved in the whole process of right sizing. I mean, in most cases, you know, Todd and his crew we're expanding the pipes maybe by, you know, we're taking a 12-inch pipe and making it maybe a 20-inch pipe. You know, we're not talking massive projects here, but, you know, in the case of where we're expanding it, you know, a culvert vastly, that's something that's obviously going to need approval by DEC, and they'll be involved in that as well.
thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. And if anybody has any questions on this, they can email my office and I'll put you in touch. Next up, at Clinton Community Day, I had the pleasure of meeting Barbara Gavin of the Nine Partners Lions Club, and we discussed all the great work that they do in our community and their need for more members to continue that work. So I invited her here to talk to the community so we can get to know them better. Barbara.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. The Nine Partners Lions Club is the last service organization in your town. Our motto is, "We serve and together we can." The Nine Partners Lions Club was chartered February 16, 1960. I'm sure there are current and former members here tonight, And many of your fathers were members when the clubs were formed, and later your mothers when women were invited to be members. Lions are known for sight and eyeglass collection. In 1925, Helen Keller addressed the Lions at a convention and asked them to become Knights of the Blind to eradicate blindness. Vision is still our primary goal, but through KidSight USA, we screen children from 6 months to 6 years old for sight problems. This is the time when eye problems are most correctable. Through the Night of the Blind donations, we are able to help individuals with little or no insurance have the required medical services they need. We work with the Lions Institute in Albany and Albany Med, the ophthalmology department, and help to provide these services. The youth are involved in all aspects of Lions. We have a few Leo clubs in the middle and high schools throughout the counties and in our district, and we hope they will continue to be Lions as they grow older and grow up. Just disaster relief. When disaster strikes, we have seen and still are feeling the effects of the Hurricane Ian. The Lions are there. Lions clubs reach out to the clubs in those areas, and along with Lions Club International, are along with the first to arrive and identify the needs and provide the assistance, and we are the last to leave. Humanitarian efforts. They help provide medical care, clean water, eye screenings, and glasses and food. Once these needs are identified, we have teams that go there to help. Diabetes. We provide education to those diagnosed with prediabetes in ways to help them potentially reverse type 2 diabetes. We also offer education with type 2 diabetes. Individuals are encouraged to work with their medical provider to ensure they are getting the proper care. Hunger. We support local food pantries and adopt local families for the holidays by providing them with gift cards to purchase food. Some clubs even offer the backpack program, which contains nutritious food for the weekend so no child goes hungry over the weekend. The environment. I'm sure you've seen our members out there picking up litter on the highway, but we do more. One of our members is working with the ABC program, a bench for children, by collecting 400 pounds of bottle caps and taking them to Indiana and returning with a bench for their synagogue. Other clubs are collecting all types of recyclables to provide benches for the community. And if you look around, if you've taken the walk along the rail trail, you have seen benches through Trek and other clubs have collected and have in memory of other members. Clean prescription bottles are collected and sent to other countries to provide a means for medication to be put once it's dispensed. Pull tabs are collected to help provide dialysis. We also collect sneakers that are used to, if they're good, they get passed on to those who may not have shoes, and if not, they're ground for your tracks and things like that. Childhood cancer. We have a chemo duct program that provides Huggable Hope to children, and along with a children life specialist, they learn about cancer and what they will see in the hospital environment. We provide backpacks containing hygiene items, games, gift cards, a lion, pillowcases, and a hat that match, whatever else we can provide. At Easter, we supply children with chocolate bunnies. We will be working with the Mid-Hudson Regional Pediatric Unit to raise money to provide the 10 private rooms with secured Apple iPads. Our local children, when diagnosed with cancer or a blood disorder, will be given a quilt to provide them with comfort as they go through their treatment. We had the opportunity to meet at the Community Day, and we're here now. We need you. We welcome your ideas and support, both financially and as members. Please consider becoming a member so we can continue to support the community. We are proud to say that 100% of what we collect and raise goes back to the community. We meet the first Tuesday of the month here, and in climate weather, we may meet by Zoom. So thank you for the opportunity to share what the Lions do locally and internationally, and we look forward to welcoming you into our club. Thank you. Any questions?
Anyone?
And I bet you thought we just went around wearing yellow shirts. Well, we do more.
Thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for everything you do. Yeah, Bill.
Like just as an addition, she mentioned the eye screening thing when we go down and screen all the young kids. We were down today down in Deacon where we screening 43 kids, and we found some what we refer to as referrals, which means that these are kids that should be referred to an ophthalmologist or something like that for further evaluation. So it's got some great stories about successes in saving kids' lives over the years. So it's, you know, it's one of the more, for me at least, one of the more rewarding things that we do every year.
And for the community watching on TV, Mr. Digger was talking about how today they screened 43 kids in Beacon, and they found a few that needed some referrals to ophthalmologists. So they're doing really great work in our communities, and I thank you all for all of it. So now we move on to approving minutes. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the September 13th, 2022 Town Board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the September 13th, 2022 Special Town Board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. And I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 1st, 2022 Special Town Board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone that has comments to make during public comment about items on the agenda tonight?
Say that again?
The first public comment session is about items on the agenda. It's on the agenda?
But is it?
I'm asking, there's a second public comment period.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
There's a second public comment period that is for items that are not on tonight's agenda, so, yes. Okay. Todd, did you want to? Okay. So I make a motion to open the meeting for public discussion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Todd?
Tonight on your agenda, under new business, number 2 there, to approve the Ford F-250 truck. That's vital to us here for the Town Hall complex, and I'm hoping you guys will support that tonight. That is the rec, cemetery, and the highway truck. You guys know about the funding, where it's coming from and everything. If that doesn't get approved tonight, we're going to be behind on plowing and sanding the cul-de-sacs, intersections, and the Town Hall complex. So hopefully I have you guys' support on that tonight. Number 1 on the new business, I'll jump back here, the snow and ice control agreement. Supervisor Witten and myself have been working with the county. There has been an increase in that ice and snow control with the county with the agreement. You guys will see that in your package tonight. And then also, number 3 there, with the surplus of the truck, whatever the difference is of the purchase of the new truck, we're going to put that towards the new truck that we're selling. And that's just the truck with the plow, the sander. It's only a couple of years old. We're going to put that in the new truck and try to save some money.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Any other comments? I make a motion to return to the regular order of business.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Supervisor comments. There is a Dutchess County SPCA free rabies vaccination clinic for dogs, cats, and ferrets taking place on October 23rd from 8 a.m. to noon at 636 Violet Avenue in Hyde Park. Dogs must be leashed. Cats and ferrets must be in carriers. For more information, visit dcspca.org or call 845-452-7722. The town clerk's office is sponsoring a winter coat drive. Please drop off new or clean, gently used men's, women's, and children's winter coats, hats, scarves, snow pants, and gloves to the town clerk's office for distribution to those in need. The office will be accepting donations through November 1st, Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. As many residents know, upgrades are taking place along a 54-mile utility corridor, 8 miles of which runs through the town of Clinton. I've been receiving some phone calls from residents wondering what all of the activity is. National Grid is removing one set of utility poles and replacing the other set with monopoles. The new towers will hold a new 345 kilovolt line and the existing 115 kilovolt line. You'll see a lot of grading work being done to allow access to the power lines, and in the coming weeks there will be foundation drilling and pouring and the removal of old lines. This project is anticipated to be complete by the end of 2023. And for details and construction schedules, please visit ny-es.com. Stands for New York Energy Solutions. Town board reports. Elliot?
Okay, the planning board met on September 20th, discussed actually granted an approval of an application for an accessory dwelling on Rimpf Road, and had a lengthy discussion about a proposed subdivision on Pumpkin Lane. The October 4th meeting was canceled due to lack of a quorum. The zoning board meeting, which had been scheduled for the last Thursday of the month, whatever day that was canceled. There had been one application on the agenda, but it was withdrawn by the applicant, and so there was essentially there was no agenda, so the meeting was canceled. While I have the floor, I just want to quickly mention on the cemeteries, we have a vote coming up at the end of the meeting for a 4th volunteer to serve on our cemetery committee, and or discussion. I also want to mention, I've said this before, but I think it's worth mentioning again, that I've received a number of compliments from people in the town about the cemeteries, the appearance of the cemeteries as looking better than they've looked in a long time. And so for that, we owe a debt of thanks to the highway department for the hard work they've done to maintain the cemeteries and make them proud of, something that we can be proud of in terms of their appearance.
I am going to cover for Chris Giuliano tonight. The rec department had a successful summer. In addition to annual summer camp, we added a concession stand, the Snack Shack, 4 evenings of music in the parks with food trucks, 2 movies under the stars at the park, and a basketball clinic. Continuing into the fall, we have the hiking club, the knitting club, and a senior drop-in center with Pleasant Valley every Friday. New for the fall, we are holding dog obedience classes starting October 20th, a winter hoops with Pleasant Valley Recreation for kids grades K through 12, senior trips to a Bob Hope-style USO show and the Jersey Boys. A ski and snowboard club is being developed with discount tickets, and Rec is coordinating with the library for a kids' holiday craft-making activity in December. This is all on the town webpage, on the recreation portion of the town webpage. And for more information, you can email clintonrec@townofclinton.com. Dean.
So the zoning revision's going right along, and we're coming hopefully close to the end. I do anticipate probably not too many more meetings when we'll finish the definitions and then finalize with some of the other parts of it. But next Wednesday at 7 p.m., so that's October 19th, 7 p.m. is our next meeting. If you have any input of any changes, please make your voice be heard.
Kath?
CIC meets tomorrow, so don't have anything to say about that at the moment. The library board meeting was yesterday. There's a couple of things I wanted to mention. They are currently doing a food drive for the Great Give Back, which is statewide. They're collecting food for the Pleasant Plains Presbyterian Church's food pantry. That's through the 15th of October, so it's coming to an end soon. On the 22nd, they are having an event with the Northern Duchess Symphony Orchestra. It's going to be a children's concert, but I'm told that everybody would enjoy it. At 10:45 in the morning, there's a sort of show and tell, and then 11 o'clock is the concert. And last but not least, what I want to mention is on the 27th is their Lunch and Learn program, where Craig Marshall's going to talk about the history of the library. So that's midday on the 27th.
All right, moving on to old business. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves resolution number of 2022, adopting local law number of 2022, entitled A Local Law to Override the Tax Levy Limit for Fiscal Year 2023. Is there a second?
Second.
This is a law, as I mentioned earlier, that we pass every year in the event we need to exceed the tax cap in our budget preparations. Any other discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Elliot.
Okay. Several months ago, I'm sure the board members recall, we initiated a program to clear out outstanding escrow funds that we have had for, well, sometimes going back 20 years or more even. These are funds that were set up, contributed by applicants for planning or zoning board or for building inspector, where money was set aside for engineering review, legal review, planners, and so on. State law requires that this money be returned to the applicants if there's any remaining in the accounts, and there is quite a bit. So we did this initially, I believe it was in August, where we voted to return 1, and then last month we voted to return 2. And we're now, we have half a dozen more that we've managed to locate over the course of the past 4 to 6 weeks, I would guess. So with the help of Kathy Gallinger and Arlene Campbell, we now have names and current addresses and specific dollar amounts to be refunded. So with that by way of background, I will move that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves resolution number of 2022, authorizing the return of unused escrow funds.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is, unfortunately, in this job, sometimes I have to deliver bad news. On September 8th, Welsh Sanitation notified the town that they would cease operating our transfer station on January 1st, 2023. This leaves us with a dilemma of figuring out how the town would like to move forward. I've done a financial analysis of the costs associated with running our own transfer station. I provided that to the town board. The estimated cost for running the station, including garbage, recycling, and employees to run the station, is about $71,000 for 2023. The estimated income generated from the current fee structure and the total weekly average of garbage estimate, a garbage estimate from Welsh, is about $36,000. So this results in a $35,000 operation deficit for 2023. And as discussed earlier tonight, we're anticipating the need to exceed the 2023 tax cap. Adding an additional $35,000 expense would only force us to collect even more taxes. Another option would be to double the cost of using the transfer station, and I think that this would only result in many residents deciding to use driveway pickup instead of the transfer station, which would again result in a deficit. So as I see it, we have 3 options. We can eliminate the transfer station. We can operate at the deficit and choose to do that, or we can partner with other communities, which is also very likely to cost us some money. I've asked town board members to let me know what their thoughts are or ideas regarding the situation, and so I open the floor to them.
Well, Dean and Chris and I chatted a little bit about this, and what I would like to, as a start, and I don't know that it's necessarily going to be a solution, but I'd like to get 3 bids for, I'm going to say like a group buy of residential trash pickup. So I spoke to Royal, which is also Welsh, and asked if they would be willing to do that, and he said, sure, we could do that. He indicated that it would not be discounted forever. Perhaps it might, sunset at some point, but maybe we can get a good price on that, and that would be an option.
That's great.
All right.
I also spoke to Welsh, Scott Kale, and he did let me know that they do have a senior citizen discount.
Yes.
I didn't hear exactly what the discount was. It depends on what size cans you're getting.
Catherine, I'd like to ask you, for those of us that use Welsh at home, if they're giving a discount, would that only be for new customers, or would that be for customers who've been loyal to them for decades?
Well, I think that's what we have to ask when we get the prices. So we have to decide to get 3 prices and then find out what that would be and ask that question.
I would like to decide that we will make an attempt for 3 prices. I have a feeling Recycle Depot, which is the third company, is not
Going to say.
They don't serve the entire community. I think they only serve the Hyde Park section of the community. So
If we double the price for the drop-off, what do you think that would mean in terms of the income?
well, I think it would, if everything stayed the same, it would eliminate the deficit. But if we double the price, it becomes much more likely that people would just get driveway service because it would end up costing
Would the 71 remain the same if we double the price?
Oh,
1,000 in expenses? or-
well, the 71 may decrease because we'd be collecting less garbage, and so they charge us to dump it by the ton.
Right.
But still, the employees and the rental fees for the dumpsters themselves would not change.
Yeah, those fixed costs are going to stay the same no matter what.
And those would be, I can tell you, I think,
Well, I
probably
was thinking, for
two-thirds of it.
example, if you had less volume, you could have reduced hours and save money on
yeah.
personnel or some such thing.
Well, we certainly could reduce the hours
Right.
greatly, but,
You could
at what point does it become not helpful?
But I think we also have to have a minimum hours for the employees that want to come in on Saturday as well, so.
yeah, I don't know, yeah, there
I
are.
don't know if we can reduce it any more than the
Yeah.
3 hours we were already talking about.
Yeah, right now we're at what, 5 hours, 5.5?
7:30 to noon.
Yeah, so, so
4.5.
4.5. Yeah, and I can't see us reducing it. It really, I know myself, I wouldn't really want to take a job where I'd have to work less than 4 hours, 4 hours is worth it. So,
And this is not just our town, it's going across all
Oh,
the
yeah,
towns.
yeah, we
That
should-
Welsh Services,
we should make that clear, that Welsh is only running transfer stations in 2 towns currently. Ours is one of those 2, and they are ceasing operations in both of them. So they will not be running transfer stations anywhere. We did reach out at one point to Waste Management. They are not interested in running transfer stations, neither is Recycle Depot. So we have really no choice but to either run our own or go the other way.
The home pickup.
The home pickup.
well, I mean, garbage in general through this county is a problem. I'm a director on the Resource Recovery Agency, and we only have a few years left on the burn plant. And if the DEC does not renew it, it's going to be even a bigger problem for all the garbage companies are going to have to haul. And right now, they're hauling either to Westchester, the burn plant down there, or all the way upstate. So it's not a problem that's going to go away or
Yep.
get fixed anytime soon.
So our other issue is that we kind of want, if our solution is that we just don't run a transfer station, then obviously I want to give the community as much notice on that as possible. But it's October 11th, so I think by the next meeting, we have to have all the answers so we can make whatever decision we're going to make. Okay. Sorry about the bad news. Moving on to new business. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the change order term extension for the intermunicipal agreement for snow and ice control services with Dutchess County for a term of October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023. Is there a second? Second. Yeah, the town is going to enter into the 3rd year of this 3-year contract with Dutchess County, where they pay us to plow, salt, and sand about 16.5 miles of county roads in Clinton, where we were able to renegotiate terms of the agreement this year. So we went from $5,200 per mile to $5,600 per mile. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the purchase of a 2022 Ford F-250 SRW gas 4x4 regular cab, VIN number NEE 94334, at a cost not to exceed $51,630.02, paid using monies from the following budget codes. D5130.250 will have $35,000. A8810.2 and A7110.2 will each pay $8,315.01. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Abstain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you abstain?
Abstain, yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the sale by absolute auction with no minimum bid, the C21 2013 Ford F-250 pickup with plow, no sander, VIN number EB58873. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? This is to basically offset the cost of the new truck that we just approved buying. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves Boy Scout Troop 228's annual wreath sale fundraiser at the transfer station on November 26th and December 3rd, 2022, from 7:30 a.m. until noon, conditional on the receipt of a certificate of insurance. Is there a second?
Second.
We do this and discussion, we do this every year with the Boy Scout Troop, and we look forward to it, to helping them out. This year's no different. But we would, depending on what happens with the transfer station, we do want to continue this relationship with the Boy Scouts, so regardless of what happens with the transfer station, we will find ways to help them out in the coming years to continue to sell their wreaths. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves resolution number of 2022 approving the stipulation with Medical Arts Sanitarium Incorporated, DBA Cornerstone of Rhinebeck, index number 66048/2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Cornerstone of Rhinebeck has commenced an Article 78 proceeding against the town, seeking to reverse a decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals. The approval of this motion will hold in abeyance the town's time to respond to Cornerstone in the Article 78 proceeding and stay the commencement of any enforcement proceedings during the abeyance period. If the board decides that we need to discuss this further in depth, we will have to enter an executive session. So, any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
Elliot? Motion carried. Moving to other items, I have something, I'm throwing a curveball, sorry. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 8th, which is Election Day. So this room's going to be busy. In the past, we've moved the meetings to the courtroom because they are closed on Tuesdays, and we can do that this year, but that means that we wouldn't have broadcast or YouTube. So I just wanted to take the temperature of the board if we'd rather just move the meeting to a day when we can broadcast the meeting and record it. That's something I think I would rather do.
I think we should try.
Yeah.
If we can manage it.
Possible, sure.
Yeah, so, pardon me while I look at a calendar. The very next Tuesday, the 15th, I believe is open. Although it's a third Tuesday, there's a planning board meeting that night.
How about the following Wednesdays?
I mean, we can do, Wednesday the
The planning
9th.
board, unless there's something special on the agenda, usually meets up there, right?
Oh, yeah, the planning board would be
Not
next
down
door.
here, so we could still have
Yeah.
down here.
We could also do it as soon as possible and do it Wednesday the 9th if we wanted.
I prefer to do it the
That's
next
what,
night.
that's the second Wednesday.
You know why?
Yeah.
We have bills to pay.
Oh, yeah,
Bills
yeah,
to pay, so the sooner we do it,
yeah.
because we're not authorized to pay a significant amount of bills early, so the sooner we do it, the quicker we get those bills paid.
Okay,
So the 9th is what you would,
so the 9th,
What if we do it on the 7th,
You could do it on the 7th.
the Monday, before Election Day? We
Yeah.
we could use this room.
that's fine.
we could.
It's okay by me.
I usually have a meeting on the 9th, on the first Monday, but
So we
whatever.
can do the 9th then. I mean, it's one
For
day.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Because Wednesday is generally clear on the calendar.
Yeah, on the town calendar. All right, so I'm going to make up, making a motion that we move next month's town board meeting to November 9th at
Second.
6:30 PM.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
What time did you say?
6:30.
Same, different day, same time, same place.
Same bad channel.
I wasn't
I
gonna.
make a motion to accept the resignation of Marion Thompson as member of the CAC effective October 11th, 2022. Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
It's very disappointing.
It is.
She's been a member for a long time.
She has been a member for a very long
Something else
time.
she wants to do, and it's a conflict. So
Yeah.
I don't think she wanted to,
I
but
can't believe that.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to appoint Ryan Schimmelfennig to the Cemetery Committee effective October 11th, 2022 to December 31st, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Strong work on gathering more people for this committee.
Now we just have to find some projects.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Dean?
I make a resolution that the town board approves October general fund warrant vouchers number 457 through 510 totaling $81,135.01, and the October Highway Fund warrant vouchers number 221 through 246, totaling $48,308.04, and the October Capital Fund warrant voucher number 5, totaling $937. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves resolution number of 2022, a motion to move funds at the October 11th, 2022 town board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the supervisor's report for September 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to open the meeting to public discussion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Lynn, your time.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I basically just wanted to make people aware of the fact that Kathy Hochul has increased the income limit for the senior exemption as of August the 8th to $50,000 for a 50% reduction. And Senate passed it May 10th. The Assembly passed it on the 24th, and I'm asking that the town take a good hard look at it and also take a look at the options and maybe add option C, which has to do with deducting unreimbursed medical expenses from that senior's income so that they qualify for that senior exemption, which would help them out in their assessment value and would also help them out with their taxes, because it does roll downhill from there. It's not just for people over 65. It also has to do with people that are disabled. Kathy Hochul basically put it into effect so that people can stay in their homes and afford to live where they live now. So I have a couple of sheets that basically have the options on them and also the sliding scale. And my question is, how do I get this put on the agenda, maybe for next town meeting?
So we've had this discussion, well, you and I have had a lot of discussions about this, but the town board and I have had this discussion, and we fully intend to pass the increased exemption. We intend to do it.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We fully intend to pass the increased exemption and likely, I assume, the sliding scale. We've been waiting on several people that wanted to go to conferences and give their opinion on things, and one of those asked me in an email the other day, asked me to hold off a little bit longer so she could get me more information. The thing about it is, right now, the exemption we have in place applies to the property taxes people are going to be paying this coming January. Like if we passed,
Have to be what?
if we passed this increased exemption now, it would not affect the property taxes that people are going to
understand
pay in
that.
January. So we're not under really a big time crunch right now. We have until July to pass this. So we're going to look at it all. We fully intend to pass it. We are going to have some discussion about the medical receipts exemption. I don't know that all of the board members are fully up to speed on that. So we'll have some discussion about that. And we'll also have to discuss it with the employees in town. As you know, we've had this discussion. We're going to have to discuss it with the employees in town who are going to have to carry out the tasks that we foist upon them. So, and whether they have the hours in the day and the money in the budget to do it. So, we'll have that discussion, and I am certain you'll be the first one I call when I tell you that it's on the agenda. But we do intend to pass it. and it just may not be next month, but
Do you have any timeline? in
I
terms of
imagine,
when you
I
can do that?
spoke to the town attorney and I spoke to the assessor. There's a chance, I think in November or December, we will introduce it, which
Okay.
means that there's a 30-day period and there would be a public hearing the next month and then we could vote on it.
I think that's kind of what, people are looking, I know there are petitions going around now.
Yeah,
And, whether it's one person or 15 people that qualify, if they have the unreimbursed medical expenses deducted off of that, I would think that you would, whether it's one person or 15, even if it's just one person, it would help them stay in their home and be able to live,
yeah.
comfortably for the rest of their lives. And I'm sure there's some people that are on that borderline in terms of whether they have to, get their medication 1 month and not their grocery bill. The economy the way that it is, and everybody knows it, it's at a 40-year high. And now they're looking at recession coming in the next, 3 to whatever. It was on the news today.
Yeah.
So I think the seniors just kind of need to hear that it is going to be done within, the end of the year or.
Yeah, and I've spoken to some people with the SSIP who have asked about it, and I let them know, like, we have to have it done by July, which is when the next assessment rolls are due, and we will have it done well before then.
If you need help or any volunteer work, I'll be glad to help out with that.
Thank you, and I do want to tell you that.
The time I've lived in this community, people are very caring.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of other seniors that would volunteer if you need help.
All right. And I appreciate your passion for this.
Thank you for the
You've been on me
opportunity.
for months.
Hey, Lynn, Lynn,
Hey, Lynn, Elliot has a question.
is there a limit? Is there a cap of some sort? A cap?
Sorry.
Is there a cap on how much can be deducted, or is it open-ended?
No, it's just anything that's unreimbursable, I believe, as far as I know. It's
Okay.
Whatever's on that sheet.
Yeah.
there. I don't think there's a cap on it.
Okay.
so
Thank you, Lynn.
you're asking that.
Okay.
Anybody else want to make some comments? Mr. Dickett,
Gotta come over here.
Grand Marshal Dickett.
Marshall.
Thank you all for that.
Sorry, for the people at home, can't hear you if you're not at the mic, so.
In your discussion about the transfer station, whether it stays or goes, I have a fond remembrance of all of that. And one of the things I would like you, I know you're mostly interested in the finances of it, how much is it going to cost, et cetera, but one of the other intangible kinds of things that I would hope you keep in your mind is the recycling portion of it. If that goes away, then a lot of recycling goes away with it. And that's an issue that was foremost in our mind when we first discussed building that place. So keep it in mind.
And this is literally a question because I don't know the answer. When the transfer station was first established, were they doing recycling on driveway pickups, or was it just garbage when they were picking up?
Best of my recollection, they were not doing recycle pickup at the driveway.
Because now it's usually included.
Both, yeah.
They do both
Well, that's
now.
right.
You do both.
So,
I guess I'm displaying my ignorance.
no, it's a good point, though.
But it's also worth mentioning that we had discussed we would try to do a maybe quarterly
Oh, yeah.
opportunity to drop off large items. So we would do a collection of those because that's something that is hard for people to dispose of. Like if you had what would be a couch.
A couch, a mattress, something like
A
that.
mattress.
Gotcha.
So we would still try and do those for those instances where the curbside pickup may not suit your needs or meet your needs.
Well, I'll put on my Lions hat. Years ago, the Lions Club did exactly that. They would usually commandeer one of the town trucks, hire a town driver to drive the thing, and then the Lions would man the back of the truck and help people throw all their stuff up in there. But we don't do that anymore. And we're all getting too old in the Lions to do it again, so that's not an option either.
Yeah. Well, we hope that if we end up having to eliminate the transfer station, we will do that several times a year. we can commit to that, I believe. We can find the funds.
Pickup's a nice idea. I wasn't thinking of that. And I don't know if we can swing it, but instead of having people have to bring it
Oh,
here,
yeah.
pickup would be really,
Oh, that would be
yeah.
magical.
Like I said, I'm not sure we can manage, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, but it was a festive time, you might say, doing it back in those days. So that's when everybody was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, picking up on what Bill said, the recycling station also sort of provides a community, a social function for a way of people coming together.
Yeah.
Well, I got a story about that first.
Okay, for another time.
Good evening. Thanks for allowing me this opportunity. I'm Johanna Witten, and I'm a trustee on the Clinton Community Library Board. And I also happen to be married to Michael Witten, or he happens to be married to me. Lucky guy. I'm here in an informational capacity. The library budget is on the ballot this year, and I didn't want anyone to be surprised at that. We want people to know that we are asking for an increase, and that in order to get this budget proposition on the ballot, we had to collect signatures, and I'd like to thank the over 300 residents that signed our petition to get the budget proposition on the ballot. So the last budget proposition was in 2017, and since that time, our library has doubled the number of adults and children served by our programs. We've seen a 76% increase in visits to the library, and circulation of all of our books have increased by 63%. So as we look ahead, it's clear that the funding level that was set 5 years ago is insufficient to carry us forward. And I believe that the library trustees and the library director have been very careful stewards of the tax dollars that we receive, and we are asking for this increase to help support and maintain our mission-critical services for the library, which means staff, of course, our books, and our programs. And our total allocation is $149,800. And that amount, what that means for the average household that has a property assessed of $415,000 is that their total library taxes per household, not per individual, per household or per property assessment, is $67 total per year. And that increase is about a $1.75 increase a month. So just to put that in perspective, it's less than a book a year for this increase that we're asking. And so the proposition is the second proposition, it's on the back of the ballot. It's a yes or no question. Election day is Tuesday, November 8th. Early voting starts Saturday, October 29th. And if anyone has any questions about this vote, please reach out to me. I'm jwitten@clintoncommunitylibrary.org, and I'll be happy to discuss it with you. I have one question about the transfer station, though.
Had all the time in the world at home to ask
Segue.
this.
The transfer station also collects metal recycling, or does the town collect metal, and will that still be an option?
That's the town that collects the scrap metal. And I believe we'll keep that option. We should be keeping that option. Yeah.
Okay, just interested.
Why is Todd looking at me like that, though?
Okay, thank you very much.
Joanna, basically, you're looking at $20 a year increases, right? A $20 a year increase per household on average.
Yeah, for the average assessed
The average house,
household.
yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Thank you, Elliot.
All right, anybody else? No? I make a motion to return to the regular order of business. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Any other business? I make a motion that the town board adjourns the meeting. Is there a second? Second. All